to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy. I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry. Today, I would like to talk to you about another underrated film that I saw 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's currently available on Tubi. And this is the creator, direct. I thought I talked about this film already. I didn't. Yeah, I thought I talked about it already, but I guess I didn't. Because I saw the movie the first time like 3 weeks ago on Tubi, and it stars John David Washington. What's that lady's name from I Tanya? And dang, what's that lady? Gemma Chan's in there. What's another actor? I can't remember. Written, directed by Garth Edwards, who did the Star Wars Rogue One film. And it's a science fiction action thriller about a ex-military personnel who was undercover, who is retired, and he gets recruited by his former military commanders to infiltrate a faction of rebellious groups that are planning an attack, and also his former ex-girlfriend, who was in league with him, may have ties to it, developing a very dangerous secret weapon. And that weapon turns out to be a robot child, and it's a it's kind of those plot element stories where you have a protector story of a military guy or some guy who is some sort a weapons expert who has to protect this child who could have the keys or the powers to destroy humanity. It's kind of like those kind of cliche kind of movies, but this is actually pretty good. What I really loved about it is the direction of this film. Its themes of AI and what its capabilities and the fear of it. It's nothing new. But what I thought was unique was the integration of the how robots and humans coexist with one another, how the conflicts of the robot AI fear has played, which is now a concern that's pretty much being relevant and discussed now as we enter the early stages of AI technology, and the, I guess, evolution that we've adapted to with AI, which is going to be very interesting as we go further into this new age that we're headed in. John David Washington, this guy is great in action films, man. He is great as the lead of this character. He also has like robots parts attached to him from previous wars he's been in, but the main core of the story of this character is to protect this child and to reunite with his ex-girlfriend who may have some sort of ties to this weapon that he has to protect. And you kind of see his dilemma, his moral dilemma, as he's become very attached to this kid who's still learning the world, learning about humanity, and you see his struggles of trying to not get attached to the character, but you see him kind of battle between how humans have become very cruel, very like the opposite of how we're pitched to robots, of how robots are deemed to be this terrorists, these robots like evilness, but then it's kind of, you see that kind of switch around. And it's not necessarily new. I thought it's done more uniquely here. And it seems more relevant because you've seen this done in Avatar and other films where you have a character who goes to the other side. He sees the views and viewpoints of the other side, and he does things that make him rethink his beliefs and his stance where he is between a conflict of war, whether it's war versus nature or man versus artificial intelligence. Which, again, the themes here aren't really anything new. I thought the direction of how they were analyzed by the filmmaker was very unique. And I like the action sequences here. It feels very grounded and gritty, and I love how they do that. Where the action sequences don't feel forced at all. It feels like it does happen in a moment, and then that's it, and they still progress on with the story. It doesn't feel like, okay, we're going to have an action scene because the audience are bored. It makes you... There's action, but the story, the direction makes you... I would say it takes patience to kind of get to these action pieces, but it doesn't glamour. It doesn't really glorify, or doesn't really. It feels like the centerpiece of the film is the action. It doesn't feel like the action is it's the highlight of the movie. It's more towards the story and then the ideas that this film is really trying to explore. And I'm actually surprised with the filmmaking. That from what I researched into this movie of what the filmmakers have done to try to scale back the cost of the production, which is very interesting and it's very cool, man. I think this is something where studios should have looked at. Unfortunately, the movie bombed. I think this is something that studios really need to look at and really, really kind of revitalize the approach to filmmaking and to save money. I mean, that's kind of a side note, but all in all, what I thought about this film, I thought this film was a fantastic sci-fi action film. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm kind of concerned for the genre itself, because it seems like every time a sci-fi action movie tries, unless it's like some sort of big brand IP, I feel like that genre is really in trouble, because it's I don't know. I guess maybe it's so alienated to people that they're not really so interested in sci-fi action. But this bombed. But it's a great entertaining movie. There was another sci-fi action. I mean, I think Source Code was fine. I think it did fairly well at the box office, but wasn't a huge success. I mean, Looper was somehow a success. But my point is, I think a lot of sci-fi just action movies are in trouble, and I don't know, man. I that's kind of a concern for me, because then movies like this that tries to tackle that kind of genre piece won't get made if they're not successful. I hope this film does garner some sort of success on through streaming, because it's available on TV. So I encourage anybody to seek this out, especially if you're just looking for a very entertaining action thriller sci-fi piece. It's a great time at the movies, I'll say this, and I do recommend it. The Creator, have you seen it? Comment below, let me know if you have, and let me know what is your favorite underrated movie, y'all.